window is set to end in the next few days, so expect there to be some crazy twists and turns that you never saw coming. Because today, my friends, we got a lot of big stories to discuss. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that like button and make sure you guys check out my little podcast episode today featuring Goldberg. I'm planning on having a lot of Chelsea people in the community coming through over the next few weeks. So I hope you guys give it a watch, see how you find it yourself as we discuss some of the prevalent talking points around the club during the last week. So hope you guys enjoy. And let's get straight into things. For the first story, we officially say goodbye to Renato Veiga, who today has completed his loan spell at Juventus. Now, as we know, we're set to earn around 5 million euros in terms of loan fees from his loan spell there. And when you think about the fact that we spent around 12 million to secure his services, this is a crazy deal, knowing the fact that Juventus are also covering his wage packet as well. And I think he's earning around 60k a week at the football club. But I'm going to break things down into more minute detail so you guys understand exactly how much money we're set to earn from this loan spell. Now, Juventus have agreed to pay 3.8 million euros as a fee. And there are additional costs which will total up to around 200,000, which brings the total figure to 4 million euros. But that isn't it. On top of that, if certain bonuses are activated during Renato Veiga's loan spell at Juventus, we could earn an additional 1.5 million euros. So there's potential to earn a total amount around 5.5 million euros. So if you're Renato Veiga, the last 12 months has been an absolute blessing in your life. You're living a pretty nice life in Switzerland playing for Basel. You then find yourself going to West London signing for us, which puts you on the international stage and makes you win your first international caps. And just from sheer association and from the PR boost you have from representing us, Juventus have now called for you to come and be their short-term replacement figure. And you get to play in your favorite position in defense. I mean, it's just absolute blessings for a player I have to admit I don't think was ready for us right now. But he wasn't ready yet. I still think there's this raw potential in Veiga, his attributes, the roles he can play, what he does. If they were to get fine-tuned, if he got more access to regular minutes, which I think when you're a player like him in particular, these years right now, these formative years, playing is going to help you get to where you think you can get to. So I'm actually really fascinated. I'm really curious to see how he's set to perform with Juventus, because I'm sure he's learned a lot being with us over the last 6 months. And now he can actually showcase his education, everything he's learned. I mean, the guy comes across as a very intelligent guy, which I like about him. I mean, the guy looked really dapper today, I have to say, as he's getting ready to announce himself at Juventus. And today, he himself said, listen, I'm comfortable in many areas of the field, but my main role is at centre-back, but I can also play full-back, left-back, play in midfield as well. I'll play where I'm needed. We've all heard that before, but getting access in his best position, let's see what happens there. So yeah, good luck to Renato Veiga. I think this is an amazing loan move for him. And I actually rate the fact that he's put himself out there to want to play now. And he's had some really big clubs after him. So yeah, good luck to this guy, man. Okay, so now we have to unpack the crazy story today. And it involves Aston Villa and us. And it includes disasi, JOAO FELIX, and it seems like it may be involving JHON Durán. Let's break this one down, my guys. And we start off by discussing Aston Villa. Now today, Bendia agreed a loan spell with Bayer Leverkusen with the option to buy at around 20 million euros at the end. So Villa are freeing up spaces for reinforcements. Of course, one of the big players that could be leaving them has been JHON Durán. We know that earlier, West Ham had a bid rejected of around £57 million for his services, and Aston Villa said no, they did not want to sell him. That was the reality. But since then, Al Nassr have shown interest alongside signing Victor Boniface. I'm actually so outstanding that two guys of this caliber are even possibilities near the end of this window. Is this like a bonus of being Opportunity FC? You know, when you don't really have your priorities on the football, on the field, but on business, I guess patience can pay off. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? But it's really painting a picture that JHON Durán could be leaving Aston Villa if a few things work in their favour. Now, let's look at Matt Lord's tweet here. As he says, there's lots of moving parts around Chelsea right now. Villa like disasi and Felix, but probably need to sell someone to move for Felix. In terms of incomings, we're still looking at attackers. That's a winger or a 9. If we can't get one now, we wait for the summer. And it seems like the main priorities are Tel, Garnacho as a possibility. And we've been looking at a striker for a while. And we know that someone like Durán has been on our radar for time. And actually, he would have signed for us in the summer. We keep forgetting this, but Gallagher said no to Aston Villa, even though Villa had agreed a £57 million packet with us to get this move over the line. So that was what stopped that deal from going through. But now with Villa's newfound interest in disasi and JOAO FELIX, with today disasi agreeing personal terms with Aston Villa, he's ruled out any other club right now. He is only dead set on playing for Aston Villa on loan, and Villa are set to give us a loan fee and cover disasi's entire wage packet. And I think he's earning between like 65 to 100,000 a week, and that feels a pressing need for Aston Villa because they allowed Diego Carlos to go to play for Fenerbahce, I think in Turkey. So they need someone who has that Prem experience. I don't know why they'd want disasi, who is more of like a box guy in my opinion, doesn't necessarily have that pace, but listen, it is what it is. Disasi isn't getting minutes here. He's not really suited to what Maresca wants, and you know what? He has to play right. I think it'll be a loss for the dressing room because he's a very popular figure, and he did provide a bit of experience and leadership. So listen, we do miss out on that behind the scenes in the dressing room. But the big story today is the emergence of interest from Aston Villa around JOAO FELIX. Now, before we even signed Felix in the summer, Aston Villa, under Unai Emery's orders, were hoping to secure a deal to sign him. They were persuading him to come there, but Felix, he wasn't interested. Obviously, he was at Barcelona. Him, Mendes, they knew that bigger clubs were also showing interest still. It wasn't the right move or time. But now, fast forward 6 months after signing for us, the guy's played around 950 minutes, a pitiful amount of minutes. He didn't play against Man City, but that's because of a bereavement issue with his family behind the scenes, so he was allowed at the time to go away to be there for them. But since coming back to us, it's not been roses for JOAO FELIX. He's struggled, and is this a sign that maybe JOAO FELIX's time with the big boy clubs now is now over? Now, I'm going to sympathize to Felix fans because this once upon a time, I had, you guys know if you've been watching my channel, Felix. I love this guy. You know, my memories were still fresh of his time with Atletico Madrid and the big things he did there during patches. But my God, were these patches exciting and brilliant. But sadly for him, he's found himself in a situation where the manager doesn't need him or Nkunku and is kind of refusing to really involve them that much. So if you're a Felix fan, I sympathize a bit because it's a case of we haven't even seen the full extent of what he could do for us. It's like he hasn't even really fully been tested yet. And it's like, due to the modern day financial demands of football clubs, they'd rather instantly cash out someone right now than wait for the guy to potentially find his form or come back in the future in case there's a possibility the money goes down for him, which I get. But if we put that sentiment to the side, and if we go back to our priorities, if the manager doesn't need these attacking mids, I think it's very obvious that we need a striker. Nico Jackson can't be doing it himself, yeah? With the current form he's had in terms of his ability in front of goal, because I still think he's done a very good job for the team off the ball. He's set up Palmer in the last 2 games. He's not been awful. We need to have the bigger picture. But the thing is, he can't play full 90s anymore. And the fact that he got taken off against Man City and our pressing got even worse when he came off sums it up. And I think right now, there needs to be that competition figure, preferably around the same age as Nico Jackson, where whenever one guy isn't on form, the other guy is hungry and ready to go. And that's how you push each other forward and push each other on. And this is where things are very interesting now surrounding JHON Durán, because Villa have been adamant that they don't want to sell him. But that was before there was a possibility to potentially get JOAO FELIX. Now, at the moment, it seems like it would be on loan, but that's not completely completely the truth right now, because Villa would sign him on a permanent deal. But if they're going to sign him, they have to sell someone. And at the moment, JHON Duran would be the most viable option to sell. And the reality simply is that Villa, they can't use Durán and Watkins together. There's a bit of frustration brewing behind the scenes. You know, Watkins is frustrated that he's not able to get full 90s. Duran's frustrated that he has to come on as a super sub all the time. Both strikers are frustrated that they don't even get to play games together at times just to give the minutes that they need. And I think Emery now kind of realizes, listen, Duran's a great player. This is why Villa are reluctant to sell him, because I think this guy has the potential to be world class, and Villa know that. They know he's a special player. But at the moment, they just can't give him the minutes consistently that he needs. And the one thing that Watkins has over him, which is important for Villa's system, is the fact that Watkins can bring other guys into the game. Look at Jacob Ramsey's score recently over the weekend. That came from a Watkins pass, because Villa also encouraged their forward players in midfield and stuff to get forward. So it is important that the striker is able to slot them in. I'm not saying Durán can't do that, but Duran's striker profile is more of like the advanced style forwards who gets on the end of moves. And if you play to those strengths, I mean, you've got an absolute menace of a forward, right? And what really excites me is that Durán has actually improved a lot as a player since last season. A lot as a player. I know some Villa fans, they'll feel a bit sad that someone of his potential will be leaving. Hopefully it softens if Felix, of course, does go there. But I think we have to also think of the other side. And that other side is, would Felix say yes to Villa now? You'd argue that due to his lack of minutes and lack of game time, would he be crazy to turn them down right now? Would it be on a loan deal first with the potential option to buy, or preferably obligation to buy at the end? Because at least Felix can play consistently for a team that still has the potential to challenge in the Champions League and maybe secure European football for next season. So, you know, there is a risk that we are also strengthening a rival around us. But equally, is our pressing need for a striker that more important that if there's an opportunity now to do business with Aston Villa for JHON Duran, we take this opportunity with both hands. I mean, the fact that Villa are already talking to Felix, Mendes' agent, they've secured disasi on loan. This is big stuff. This is big news. And if they do this, I think they're open to allowing JHON Duran to leave in the opposite direction, because they're getting big offers for him. A lot of interest. As I said, they turned out a big bid from West Ham of around £57 million. They've kind of stalled the interest from Al Nassr, who are willing to splash big money. And reports saying around 100 million for JHON Duran in the market. If Villa are going to let a talent like this go, they need to guarantee a top-class replacement for him. And I think Felix, the long-term Unai Emery target, could make the most sense, considering his shelf life has already expired at this football club. So there's going to be so many twists and turns. I guess on a good note, we could end this window with both Tel and Durán coming our way, with Nkunku going to Bayern Munich and Felix going to Aston Villa. This allows us to essentially regroup and rebuild, costing us absolutely nothing. We're getting rid of players who are great players in their own right and very good players, but the system doesn't really call for them. And if we're doing this, is this finally the telltale sign that, okay, the directors now, they're more willing to give Maresca what he needs? Because I'm sick and tired of any manager over the years who comes to our football club and they don't get every single thing they need. Every manager right now who's doing big things with their clubs, they're not working with half a squad that they don't need. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But Durán, Tel, listen, it's not the experience we need. It isn't. But at least considering what the team needs for right now for this season, that striker and that type of auxiliary winger / striker, they complement what Maresca wants more than what he has at his disposal right now. So there's definitely a lot to think about this late in the evening. My friends, man, share your thoughts and opinions on this. Is this the move you like? Does this make sense for you? Are you disappointed Felix is going? Should Maresca be doing more in his power to make these guys work? Let's see what happens. Nothing is guaranteed right now, but you can imagine every man behind the scenes of the football club is doing overtime right now, working night and day to engineer these moves. So my friends, get involved in the conversation, give us your thoughts, and don't forget to check out my podcast today, first episode with Goldberg, and I have a few more guests lined up in the future. So see you guys all soon. Cool.